You are listening to the Age of Heroes podcast, a podcast dedicated to pop culture, fandom, and the geek world. My name is JP Sarricolea. I am a digital creator committed to inspiring others to pursue their passions, their dreams, and goals. I am sitting down with creators and influencers from all walks of life to talk about their work, their experiences, and how to make a positive impact. Welcome to the show. Hey guys, how you doing? JP Sarricolea here, and welcome again to another episode. This episode of Age of Heroes, our podcast, my podcast. And today I have a guest of honor, which I am super glad to have today with us. He's going to share a lot of things today. I'm going to ask him a lot of questions, going to poke him a little bit. In this case, it's Dean Baudanza. I think that's your last name. I forgot.
Yep.
Pronounce it right.
A.K.A.
A.K.A. StatueHunter75. For those who have been in this hobby for quite some time, they know that name. And I'm super glad to have him here. I wanted to do this for quite some time, and now we got the opportunity. Before I let him start introducing himself, I want to mention this for those who are listening here. I am very grateful for StatueHunter75. I'm very grateful for Dean. To me, he was the inspiration for me to start doing YouTube stuff.
I'm humble.
Yeah. Actually, my main channel, JP Sarr Reviews, just back in November, we celebrated our 10th anniversary, 10 years doing this, but which is amazing. But before I start doing this, before many of us start doing this, there was a few selected ones that they were doing it way before everyone. And Dean was one of the first ones, and definitely was the one who inspired me the most to start doing the YouTube stuff. And definitely, Dean, I'm very grateful for that you were the one doing it back then. You shared a lot of stuff back then. I learned a lot from you. And definitely, I think that you kind of built a community around it. A lot of people who are unfamiliar with this hobby, with statue collecting, got into statue collecting. In this case, thanks to people like you, people like Alcacel, people like Ansel06, or that Avern07, Max Collector. They were the originals, the OGs, the ones that started doing this. So I want to say thank you, Dean, for all these years been doing this.
You're welcome.
Grateful for that.
and it's funny, a lot of the names you mentioned, Alcacel and Aver1 and Matt X, all amazing channels, all great guys, very, very knowledgeable, very great guys. And there was one other one who actually is the one that got me into it way before all those guys. I think I was around before Matt X Collector. I know Aver1 was around with me.
Yes.
And Alcacel was right around my time, or a little bit. I can't remember. He might have even been a little bit before me, maybe.
Yeah, Max Collector came out. I'm sure Geek Maddox came after you, but yeah.
Francois. A great friend, great guy, and
yes, he is.
Beautiful new baby, and his wife. But he came a little after. But there was the one guy that I started watching who got me into it was Pitu.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Vision. Yes,
Pitu Papo.
He was the first, one of the first ones.
I saw his review. What got me into Street Fighter was his review of the Ryu, the Jerry Macaluso Ryu, who was another close friend, great guy, Jerry Macaluso from Pop Culture.
Yeah.
Well, formerly he was with him.
Formerly, yeah.
But the Ryu where he's holding the headband, the Street Fighter, that was P2's review of that, and his old review of the Hulk, the OG Hulk from Sideshow, the premium format.
The premium format, yeah.
Quarter scale, yeah. He did those two reviews, really pulled me into it, and I was like, you know what? And I mean, I don't know if I don't mean to be jumping, derailing the conversation here, but this is kind of what got me into it. Was my wife, or at the time my girlfriend / fiance, this is way back, this is like before 2009, we got married in 2011, right when I started the channel was probably around 09, maybe, I think 09 or late 09. I used to, before I met my wife and kind of settled down and got a little reined in, I used to go out a lot to nightclubs and stuff like that, and with my friends, and in Boston, which is where I'm from, and I used to wear like the fancy jeans and all that stuff, and I used to get my jeans tailored. I'm 6 feet, but for some reason, True Religion jeans, with expensive, stupid jeans I used to waste money on, used to be really long, and I'd have to be in 6 foot. I'd have to get them altered. And this place in Newbury Street in Boston a wonderful place. I forget the name of Newbury Street Tailors, I think. In his tailor shop, he had all curios and glass cabinets with like statues and mirrored cabinet display cabinets, like high end, not IKEA, really nice ones. And he had a beautiful display. He had the Hulk Spidey dio. He had all the sideshow dials, the OG ones, the X, all three of the X-Men. He had them all. And I was there with my wife, girlfriend at the time. And I was like, oh my God, look at this, Melissa. I'm like looking at the Hulk versus Venom. I'm sorry, Spider-Man versus Venom dio, the Bowman. And I was looking at it, just like, wow. And that's what she got me for a gift, like that year for my birthday. And, you know, she talked to the guy and found out where he got it from. He told her about Bowen. And then my wife taught me about eBay after I got, I'm like, where'd you get this? And she's like, eBay. Hence the end of the nightmare that became this ridiculously huge collection. But yeah, that was like one of the first statues in his tailor shop where he had all the statues on display. Was my first introduction to statues. And then I started watching YouTube and saw P2 and started seeing all the reviews and stuff, and then it was all history.
Yes. Well, the good thing you mentioned, because you know, I thought about P2, but for some reason it just didn't click. But yeah, I know that he has been he's one of the oldest. I remember when even Sideshow back then did like a special with him, like, because, you know, he's been in the hobby for so long. And, you know, now, of course, you know, life has changed. You know, he's now a father. He has, you know, you know, things change, you know, for all of us in one way or the other. And I still remember one thing that one of the things that I love about you making videos, it was the fact that if they felt very very natural, like you were doing, it was a conversation. I felt that you were conversing with us, you know, in this case with me as a person watching. I feel that you just sharing. There were even times I remember when, and you mentioned that you had your girlfriend back then, and there were times when you mentioned that you were a bit tipsy, things like that, and it was so natural. It felt like, hey man, I'm talking to my friend. And
coming in from a night of drinking or something.
Yeah, you would say, hey, let me share with you this new statue that I have. And
changed,
things have changed, but it was a different time. Of course, YouTube wasn't as big as it is now. You know, people were not looking for clout. You were not looking for followers. You were just simply sharing the stuff that you love. And naturally people kind of were attracted to it, because I felt, you know, I knew I was already collecting stuff. But every time I remember when you were posting some of these videos, I was like, man, I love this piece, so I have to go. That's when I started going to eBay a lot too, because, man, I want that, and where do I need to go to get this piece? Because one thing I love about your collection was that it was very eclectic. You know, it was not only one company. There were so many different companies. You have a passion for a lot of things. I remember your Street Fighter stuff. You had PCS. You share DC Collectibles, DC Direct. You share Sideshow, of course, and Bowen Design. So it was a lot of different things, which I love. And I can see that you always have a passion for so many things. Where everything started, because I know that you started with the statues, but does that goes back all the way to your childhood, you know, where, you know, with comics and stuff?
Yeah, like in my childhood, I wasn't like I was a collector, I guess, a little bit of, you know, action figures and all that stuff, Transformers and all that, like any other kid. But I basically did comic books and baseball cards. When I was younger. I was heavily into, in my teens, and, you know, until like obviously college and chasing girls and, you know, life changes. But until about like the late 90s, I was into comics and sports cards, mainly sports cards, even more so than comics. And I've recently just now getting married over the past, you know, I've been married for like 11 plus years now. But you settle down and you have kids, and now I've kind of gotten back into the sports cards a little, because you run out of space for the statues in your collection room.
Yeah.
You can't constantly review statues, because I'm not a multimillionaire, and I'm you know, I don't live in a big mansion where I have all the space for everything. So now I'm very more selective of my collection. I'm definitely starting to thin some out and sell some. So now my channel has kind of evolved. I still get a statue here and there or a hot toy figure, and I'll try and do a review to keep everyone into it. But I started also like doing opening sports cards.
Yes.
I was opening high-end packs, and I open the Pokemon with my kids and stuff like that. And that's the thing about my channel. It's very simple. You know what I mean? I've never put high production into it, or started like an introduction screen or anything like that. It was always just, I whip my camera out. Now it's my iPhone 14 Pro Max or my iPad. You know, I'll just film with that. And, you know, there was a while when I was doing a little bit of slight simple editing, just putting down the name of the statue by Sideshow Collectibles or by Prime One or whatever it was. But I just want my channel it's just kind of just to share with you guys. You know, I'm not looking for any kind of like advertising deals or anything like that. You know what I mean? So I haven't gone heavily into, like, some companies did send me stuff to review, but they were like, oh, you got to get more into your lighting and it's like, that's not what I'm about. You know what I mean? I'm not going to change my whole channel and get a backdrop and start doing, you know, high-end equipment and stuff like that. I just do simple reviews. It's on the side. It's a hobby. It's not a job. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be a professional YouTuber. It was great that it took off and I got a lot of subscribers. I mean, I've kind of plateaued now at like 13,030, or, you know, it goes up and down. It stays right around 13,000. I'll take all the subs if you guys want to subscribe. I still appreciate it. You know, the growth of the channel and everyone subscribing. I love all my subscribers, and you meet amazing people. Oh yeah. Like I met one of my best friends. It's funny. Make Mine Marvel. He has a channel on YouTube as well. Matt Tina. He was in collecting, and he's still in it. He just sold off a lot of his collection and kept the grails, so to speak, in his collection. But it's funny because Chris, Big Silva 77.
Big Silva, yeah.
I remember Chris Silva, another good friend of mine. My wife and I actually went out to Vegas on the West Coast and met up with him and his wife a long time ago. And when I met Chris and met up with Chris, and we had a fun little weekend there in Vegas, and then he was telling me that, you know, there's a guy who messaged me in Boston who lives near you. He wants you to hook up with him. Maybe you guys go out and talk statues, go for, you know, a drink and a burger or something, and reach out to him. And that was Matt. And Matt has, over the past 10 years, has become one of my closest friends, best friend. He's a great guy. He's a Army. He's in the Army. The guy's a hero. You know, he's in the Army. He's a fireman, an all-around hero, and just a great guy. And I met one of my best friends through this hobby, through this collecting, because everyone's so good in it. And you know, he's my son's godfather, and I'm his youngest daughter's godfather. Wow. That's how, you know, how close. Amazing. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's some toxicity in this hobby too. You meet great people. You do meet some a-holes. A couple guys from across the pond have made a few comments about me. And the funny thing about that is, these British guys, I'm not dropping names, you can figure it out. They don't even know me. And one of them says, like, hey, I met him at a Comic-Con. I never even saw him. Never even saw him. He said he met me at a Comic-Con, and I said this, and I think I'm all that, and I'm a cocky guy. That's not me. But I didn't go back on social media and blast him. I mean, this is an interview 3 years later or whatever. I think it was a couple of years ago he made these comments, and you're talking to me now, and I'm just bringing it up. But it's nothing. It's stupid. You got some people like that, but you overall, you get a lot of good people in this hobby, and just so many good people. Even the statue company owners, like meet Jerry Macaluso, such a great guy, and you meet such good people. Josh Zim. I don't know if you guys know Josh Zim. Me and Matt went to the New York Comic-Con, probably the Comic-Con that this person from across the seas is claiming he met me at, but he didn't. We met Josh Zim. That is someone I actually bumped into and got to know at the Comic-Con, and we had a blast. We went out after, had a few cigars, had drinks. It's just great time. And I see all these guys, like all my good friends, like Francois and Chris Silver and all them out on the West Coast. They whoop it up at the San Diego Comic-Con. Someday I'll get out there. Maybe. I don't know. I still haven't made it out there. It's definitely a dream to someday get out there and go to that. But they look like they have a blast every year. Every year,
yeah. Guys. I think that's the part that the greatest thing, like you said, and it's amazing because you know, this is the thing. This hobby brings so many people together that they come from all different walks of life. People that sometimes they're even maybe right next to you that you don't even know you share the same passion. But with this hobby, I noticed that you get to know people, the real people, you know, the real heart, the real passion, what they love. And I know sometimes, you know, there are a lot of heated moments, you know, because I think we're all very passionate people. I notice that sometimes people say things that they don't mean to say. And I've encountered situations too where man, I have people that I met in the forums, and then on Facebook we disagree about something, and man, we're blasting each other out for a while. I had a friend that I'm not going to mention here that, you know, at some point we got into this big argument because I think he was making comments against a company that he was not happy with the product, but I was just kind of bringing my opinion in reference to this, the reason why they did what they did. And of course, he blasted me on Facebook for a while, you know, but then, you know, we're good friends, you know, like we're friends on Facebook. You know, we have our moments, you know, and I feel that it happens a lot. And yes, like you said, there are toxic behavior, there are toxic people, but there also, I would say that for those who are toxic, there's many people here that are the opposite.
Luckily, they're the minority. The toxic behavior is the minority. And it's funny because, like, one of the great guys who was another heavy, I'm not going to name his name, but he was another big Street Fighter collector. And I've been friends with him forever. Like, not close friends, like I know him, call him on the phone or anything, but friends through the community. And he kind of blasted me with those other two guys from their channel.
Oh,
like,
wow.
he didn't blast me on their channel. He made a comment, oh yeah, Statue Hunter's this. I was like, wow, I can't believe he's saying that about me. It kind of hurt, you know. It kind of like was like, wow, I thought, you know, we've had a few conversations about Street Fighter stuff because
that's
Street
about
Fighter
it, yeah.
is a whole nother community in itself.
Yeah.
And I've met so many great people. But like you said, thank God those people are the minority, and people do get passionate. I've like a very good friend of mine, Bruno, who, you know, ran Statue. God, I can't think of it. Oh my God. One of the channels on YouTube, one of the popular, not Statue Collectors. Can't believe I can't think of it right now. Anyway, I'm having a total brain fart. But anyway, you know, we get in passionate conversations, but at the end of the day, you're friendly. So you just gotta let it go. It's not worth it. You might think one thing about a statue company or a statue itself, and somebody else thinks another, and you're really passionate about it, and you have your opinion, and just let it go. At the end, it's not worth the argument, you know. And that's the great thing about, like, with Bruno, like, you know, we'll have an argument about a statue and then forget about it. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, you just let it go at the end of the argument. You know, I can't believe I'm resin something. I really can't believe I'm forgetting the name of, because I've kind of been out of statues for a little bit now.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't been following things, but it's on Facebook. I'm actually looking up Polystone Addicts. My God, I almost had to look up the name.
Polystone,
but you know Bruno, who runs Polystone. He's an awesome guy, and you know, we always argue, and everybody argues. Like, people get on, we'll be talking about the new Star Wars show, the new Disney show.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes things get political, and you're good enough friends that you let it go at the end. It's just
because like
conversation.
Like I was looking at my list of friends that I have on Facebook. I probably have over 1,000 friends, and the vast majority of those friends are people who have met through statue collecting or any other hobby, which is amazing. It's like all these people come together, and of course everyone is different. Everyone has different ideas about everything, like you said, a different opinion in reference to a movie or even statues. And believe me, there are a lot of times where I find that I have more disagreements with my friends than agreement, but at the same time, we share something that we're passionate about, and you know, I try to be respectful. I think that that's one thing that sometimes is lost in translation, and is lost also in the forums or Facebook, is that sometimes people are quick to judge or quick to express their opinion without not really having or really thinking, hey, am I saying the right thing? Am I going to hurt somebody? You know, because the problem with Facebook is that when back in the day when you were just sharing on forums, it's just, you're a person that it's a separate entity. You're like you create an avatar, you create a person there, and you can leave it there. But when you're on Facebook, you also have your family together, you have friends, you have everything. All your life is right there for people to see. And sometimes people are quick to just start looking at your life, looking at your family, and it can get out of hand very quick. How do you handle all that? Because I know it can get sometimes out of hand.
I like I said, like I try to ignore it. You know what I mean? Like when those comments were made, I got really pissed, and I wanted to jump on and retaliate, and show screenshots and all this shit, and defend myself. But it's like, is it worth it? You know what I mean? It just, stay out of it. It's not worth it. This channel is a fun thing that I got into, and it's a hobby that I love, and I'm passionate about collecting. It's not worth starting these wars with people. Like there was one other guy, long shot. Guy used to torture me. He used to leave all these stupid comments on my channel all the time. And I just like, dude, you don't even know me. I don't even know you. And I think he's a dad too. It's like, you got kids. Like, is it worth this nonsense? Leaving comments on someone's channel. Like there's so many haters out there, but there's always going to be trolls and haters that leave comments on your channel. I'll just delete them or wipe it off the channel. You know what I mean? That's how I handle it. I'll answer them if it's something that's a valid comment that's worthwhile or worthy of an answer or a response. I'll give them my response. But most of the time it's garbage, and I'll just delete it off the channel and block them. You know what I mean? It's like, that's
what I learned, because I used to do the same thing initially when I was doing my channel. Because this is the thing, this very well. You produce a video, whether you put too many hours into producing it or not, it takes time just to make the video, to present your opinion, then upload it into YouTube, and all of a sudden, you get people leaving good comments, and then you're going to have, like you said, the troll, the person that always, no matter what, comes just to say that they dislike you because of this or because of that,
or make an awful comment about your family or something stupid.
Things like that.
I haven't had nothing that serious, but I've heard other people talk about stuff like that. You know what I mean? But you know what? For every one or two idiots like that, there's 500 other awesome comments, and it makes you feel great when people thank you, like you in the beginning of this video were thanking me. I didn't do this for popularity or anything, but it is humbling, and it feels great when someone says something like what you said. Thank you for showing me this statue or this. I went out, but when someone comments, I went out and got that specifically because of your review. It feels awesome. It's cool. It's like, I'm glad I could help you, while I'm doing something that I like doing, just making a video about something that I like.
Actually,
I appreciate that. Like one time I was out, obviously I live in Massachusetts, and I was out summertime and was out with my wife at the time. And we were married at the time. And it was around before we had kids. We were in Newburyport, and just going all the nice places and stuff like that, shopping and stuff. And, this dude walks up to me, big jacked guy, with his pretty girlfriend and his other friend with him. And they walk up to me, and he's like, dude, you're StatueHunter75. He's like, I love your channel. He's like, oh my God, I base all my purchases off your reviews and this, that. And it felt awesome. I was just like, I was like, oh, thanks, man. That's awesome. And my wife's walking away like embarrassed, obviously, because she's not into statues and all that stuff, so she doesn't get it, whatever, like those of us that are passionate into it, so she's just like walking away all embarrassed, and I'm like, oh, come on. It's just funny, but it's such a great feeling.
Yes, it is
like that. And I don't do it for that, but I mean, it's nice that's like a side effect of it. The people that do like the channel and appreciate the channel, it's a nice, it's nice to hear stuff like that. Yeah, and it makes up for all the simpletons and the trolls that
exactly
make stupid comments.
Yeah, I don't think, like you said, it feels nice to be recognized for the effort that you put on your stuff. And I have the same thing. I remember there was a time where it was my daughter. Of course, my daughter now, she's married, she's 22, she lives on her own. But when she was living, I think it was middle school or high school, and one time she said, hey, like my friend from school, I think it was middle school, says he just told me that his dad, the friend that watches your channel, and he's a follower of your channel, loves your channel. And I was like, I didn't know, how did he know who I was, things like that. But that's just the recognition, and to realize that there's people that out there that are watching and they're paying attention to those things. And I remember too, like when I was watching your channel and the other channels, the original channels that were doing the statue reviews, I was working most of the time away from the house. I was not staying in the house. I stay in hotels, things like that. So to me, it was at the end of the day, coming to the hotel, it was just a good time just to relax, sit down, watching in this case, on my computer, my laptop, go to YouTube and just watch some of those videos. It was it brings a lot of memories, and it was my hobby or my pastime. It was just to watch the guys. One thing that I love about your channel and how you produce content, or how content was produced back then, is that I felt that it was very, you were just bringing your opinion. Like you said, there was no big production in it. It was just you sharing your thoughts. It was simpler.
Agenda free.
It was genuine. It felt that it was real. Do you think that now we don't have the same thing? Because I know, I'm not trying to judge channels, but it feels to me that people are trying to fake it rather than being honest in reference to the things. Do you think that we lack that more than we used to do in the past?
Look, I'm not looking to make enemies or anything, but a lot of it now on YouTube is people trying to grow their channel. I mean, I get it. That's fine. People are trying to get subscribers and put all this production into it, and maybe get a statue company to send them stuff to review for free or something. I mean, who knows? I don't have a truth serum, so who knows who's really passionate about it, who isn't. I'd be dishonest if I started making comments about people right now, because I don't really watch the statue things lately. Like I said, I've kind of been out of it. I still love it and I'm still passionate about it. I'll go on Sideshow once in a while. It's kind of good that I haven't, because it saves my wallet.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And like XM and so like I couldn't even give you an answer to that, because I don't know who's like the top video reviewers right now. I don't watch them. You know what I mean? Is Rad Titan? I don't even know if they're still in the game. Are they still reviewing? Yeah. See, like I don't watch them. I did until some stuff, and I don't watch them anymore. And like I don't even know who. Could you tell me who are like the big ones right now? And,
right now the two biggest statues reviewers, I would say perhaps Jin Mint Collectibles, I think, is one.
Okay. He's on my feed. Like I see his stuff. I've watched a few.
I think he's I met him. Yeah, he's the biggest right now. Yeah, he's cool. And then Jin Mint, and I think the other one will be the Batman statue collector. That will be the second one. I think those are the two at the top.
Honestly, I've seen Jim Mint, the Batman statue collector. I don't even think I've
ever seen. He does that, and
that's his name.
Yeah, well, Chris Michael, that's the guy that does. Okay. He's a Batman statue collector. He is big right now in his community because he also has a Facebook group and all that. So he has a lot of people there. He's initially started doing a lot of Batman stuff because that's in the name too. But then, of course, but he's just been expanding into all sort of things, So like he produces content. Jen Mint started, of course, sharing his statues and also sharing omnibuses and comics and stuff like that.
Yeah, I see Jen Mint doing arcade one-ups and
now, yeah, he's also does that too.
Everyone's branching out, which is good.
Everybody does. I think there is a lot of different pockets of things. Of course, you have to kind of. I totally understand. Like you said earlier, people want to build their channels. They want to bring more viewers because it's part of the game now. I think maybe 10 years ago, 11 years ago, 12 years ago, it was a very different way. With YouTube was not in that. It was not about business. It was just about people sharing, like any other social platform. People sharing their own stuff. But now it's more of a business. So you have to grow the channel so you can have more exposure for other viewers, which is sad at the same time because in that process, in my opinion, I feel that channels become less authentic. It's just you're not sharing your things and your opinion. You're not filming on the kitchen table. You have to kind of have, like you said, a setup, and you got to do this and you got to do, and you have to hire somebody to do the editing for you because I know some reviewers have to hire somebody to do stuff. So it's more complicated than it used to be, and in some way it feels less about community and more about kind of building brands, and the companies are doing the same thing. Now, what do you think about the companies now? Because, companies were doing that now.
I didn't want to cut you off. I didn't want to talk over you, but that was something wanted to say. Like, another thing that's kind of ventured me out of statues, or not, I'm not completely out, but I've kind of distanced more from statues, is because they're just getting so ridiculous in price. I mean, they're amazing. Oh yeah, the stuff that they are putting out is just like that Green Lantern stuff I saw. I mean, the Predator stuff. I did my two most recent statues, which I haven't even reviewed. The most recent, I did review the City Hunter Predator. Okay. I still have one sitting in the box in my basement. The Jungle Hunter. The Jungle Hunter is probably one of the best Predators I've ever seen. I still have love for my my 1/3 scale wolf. Sideshow wolf Predator with the alien, dead alien body. Yes. The legendary scale figure. I mean, that'll always be one of my favorite Predator pieces. But I have the Jungle Hunter from Prime 1, and that thing I took out of the box with Matt. I needed help. It's so big. The two boxes are huge. We just took it out to inspect it. We didn't video it at the time. I probably should have while I had it out of the box, but put it back in. Just wanted to make sure it wasn't damaged. I do got to get a review of that out eventually. That just piece is amazing. Yeah, the newer stuff is, it's just obviously it's getting better and better, and the quality is getting better and better, but the price is going higher and higher. And I mean, unless you hit the lottery, or you have a hedge fund somewhere, you're independently wealthy, I don't know how many people are going to be able to keep up with this collection the way it is now, with the statues being minimum prices of $1,000
$1,000
and up. I mean, it's crazy. Like those prime ones that I got, those are the last few. I even canceled one. I had the dead skinned predator body, the human bodies, the trophies.
Yes.
I got that piece, and I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, that's $900 just for, it's not even a character from the Predator franchise. It's a skinned body. So I called them up and I said, I want to cancel the order. I called
the companion piece. That's all.
They were awesome. Yeah, it's just a companion piece, and it's more than most sideshow statues. So it's just gotten out of hand. I get it. The companies have to make money. Like, one guy I do watch, that Mint Hunter, he stole my name, Hunter. Mint Hunter Comics. No, he's got a good channel. I'm joking. He's got a pretty good channel, and he's talking about how he's selling all his statues, getting out of the game because of how expensive. I was just watching him the other night on his channel. I'm subscribed to him, and it's just I think a lot of people like him and myself are probably, you don't want to leave the hobby, you don't want to see the hobby die, but
a little bit jaded.
The hobby gets too big for you, you're forced out. I mean, I can afford it, but do I want to spend money on it? No, I got 2 kids growing up now. I got to worry about T-ball and stuff, and I can't be throwing $2,000 a statue here and there like it's nothing. It's I gotta pay for my kids' swim classes and stuff like that. So I'm not growing out of it. I'll always love statues, and I'll always keep up my channel, and I'll always, try and do videos. Like I said, whenever I get a small piece or anything, I still review it. I have a lot of hot toys that I just got to find the time to review that I haven't reviewed yet. I got a lot of boxed up. Like I said, I have those Predator statues. I have a couple statues to review. It's just finding the time, to do it. That's the other we come across.
Now that you brought that the hot toys, do you think people are branching out into other things now that the prices are too high in some collectibles?
I would venture to say so. What I love about hot toys is the faces look better than any statue. They look so realistic. Like, I have that Christopher Reeve Superman that I did the review on a long time ago. That is Christopher Reeve. You put a camera on that. But there are some statues that look really real. Like, I remember taking a picture of the Terminator sideshow of Schwarzenegger. It's probably one of the best pictures I've ever taken of a statue, because it was in the black IKEA, so it looked like I put production into the picture. But I didn't. It was just blacked in the back, so it looked like a still from the movie, but it was a statue. But like you're saying, hot toys, just the quality is amazing, and it's like what, $250, $300 for most pieces of hot toys on average. It's much better than $1,000. So maybe people are, kind of getting into that.
Yeah, because I will tell you, like, recently I've been branching out. I've been moving into other things from statues. I've been getting into, like, last year I got into action figures. I've been getting into hot toys, 1/6 scale figures, but also I've been getting into cheap figures. Like, I would say, like the McFarlane toy, the superpowers too, like things like that.
Dude, it's funny you said that, because I've been collecting the whole line with my son. My son's 6 now.
Yeah,
and he loves Flash. He loves. You have Flash in the background there? No, he's gonna be mad. No, I see all the Marvel stuff. No, he loves Flash, and it's funny because I'm a huge Marvel fan.
Yeah,
I'm not even that big into DC. My guy's Superman on DC. The Superman was my favorite growing up. I like Batman too, don't get me wrong, but my son loves Flash. I don't know where he got it from. I think he saw him on YouTube or something.
Probably.
I'm like, my son's name's Luca. I'm like, Luca, why do you like Flash? And this is like when he was like 4 or 5. And he's like, I like Flash. He's my favorite. I'm like, where did this come from? I don't read Flash comics or anything, so I just don't know. But anyway, I'm totally venturing off here. I forget what we were talking about.
Yeah. No, talking about, like, I feel like, like, for example, the figures. There's so many things, like, and in some ways it's a way, because, like, now I have to debate. I'm debating every time a piece comes out. Like, do I need this? Do I need to pay $1,000 for this, where I can put the money in something else and still have the same level of, passion, and still be happy with things? Because, like, it's amazing now, like, now there's so many companies producing so many things. It's just, we are bombarded every day with so many products. I'm like, I have to kind of be picky about things. But like you said, life goes, and you have to worry about things. You have to take those priorities that have to be the first place on anything. Like family comes first. I always tell that to people. You have to take care of your bills. You got to take care of all of these things, and then of course, whatever income you may have left, discretionary income, then you can use it into some other hobby. But yeah, the prices are insane, and like you said, there's no sign. People are always saying, "Is the price is going to come down?" I doubt it. Since we started in this hobby, it has never come down. It continues to go up.
I don't see it happening. I said the only time the prices will come down is when the hobby dies. You know what I mean? Like, and I hope it doesn't die. I don't want to see that happen. But that's funny because getting back into reselling these things and stuff, it's like with all these new statues, it kills some of the value of your older statues. It's like, oh. And there's some good statues that you're like, wow, I can't believe that's not fetching the money it used to fetch.
Exactly.
I mean, a lot of those Street Fighter statues have dropped in value.
Amazing.
And I hope they come up again someday because, I'm going to be selling some of them eventually.
Yeah, because some of those original PCS, there were a bunch of grails that pop culture line. You could not find them for cheap back then. And now you can eBay, people are selling this stuff because they're looking into the 1/3 scale, which is another thing that amazes me now, that people are jumping into, instead of just going below, going to a scale that is smaller, they're going into bigger scales, and everybody wants the 1/3 now. And to me, it's like, but that's too much space, once.
That is it. That's another thing. The statue costs are going up, but also the size of them are going up. So the 1/3 statues are just enormous. I only have a few in my collection. And I'm just like, I'm going to start moving these because the space that it takes up. I mean, right now, for 1/3 statues in my collection, I have a few of the Street Fighters. I have the battle damaged Ryu.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Akuma. I have the Shin Akuma. I have the Rambo. These are all pop culture. I have the Conan. I mean, I've reviewed them all on the channel, but I got the Chun-Li, the battle dress Chun-Li.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking about it. I got to start thinning these out. The Prime 1. I think the Prime 1 are the best 1/3 statues, but I will say that Batman Arkham Knight that I have is one of my favorite Batman statues. It's insane. The original Batman Arkham Knight, where he's just standing kind of.
Yes.
And then one of my favorite Superman statues of all time is the Hush 1/3 Prime 1 Superman. It thing is enormous, and it takes up so much space. But I will probably never get rid of that thing unless I'm dying of like some horrible disease and I need money for a surgery. You know what I mean? Like that statue will probably go to the grave with me because I love that Superman. It's probably the best Superman, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the best Superman statue to date.
And what do you think now that they're gonna do it? And what do you think about now that they're gonna bring it as a 1/4 scale? What is your opinion about that?
I'm sorry.
That
Prime
Superman,
now?
Yeah. They're going to produce the same statue as a 1/4 scale. They just announced that on their live video.
I don't like that. I think that kind of sucks because I think it hurts collectors like me. But I'm not looking to sell that, like I just said. But if you did need to sell it, you're getting hosed. But
yes,
it's a money grab by the company. It's definitely a money grab by the company, but it does help other collectors get a small. If they make it affordable, it'll probably be $1,000 still for the 1/4 scale now.
Plus shipping, which can add up, kind of double it.
Did they set a price point?
They haven't said it. They announced
price point yet?
Not yet. They announced it on their what was that, on their showcase that at the end of the year. So
if they made it affordable, like $500 or something, then all right, at least more collectors can get it. But I know they're not going to do that. It's probably going to be like $1,000.
It's going to be.
I think that's a shitty move. I think it's a money grab and it's greedy. And that's just, business is business. I mean, I don't know what to say. I guess if I owned a statue company, I don't know, would I do that? I mean, your object is to make money in business. Sometimes it's shitty. Like when they re-release statues, it's obnoxious. When Sideshow makes 50 different versions of Wolverine and Spider-Man, it gets to be obnoxious. It's great if you're a Wolverine or Spider-Man fan, but I mean, come on. Enough is enough. You don't need 22 different statues of the same guy. Start working on some other characters, I mean, or like they'll release a statue with a different color. It's the same exact cast. It's just a different color. Like that's another money grab. But usually back in the day, it used to be worth a fortune because if you were lucky enough to get those 50
exactly
of that color, there was only 50 out there, so you could resell that for a fortune if you were a flipper. like an idiot was never a flipper, so I still got them sitting in my basement. And then hopefully they're still worth something now, but you know what I mean? It was just funny how Sideshow used to do that. The Black Friday special, the white Electra. There's only 5 of them made, you know, really 50 or 100, whatever.
Yeah, it's like probably.
It's like it's the same statue.
So what is your opinion now with Sideshow? What do you think about, because of course Sideshow has changed a lot, you know, and of course, you know, they started small and they catered back then, they just catered to statue collectors, but now of course they distribute for other companies. So they have a different approach to business. What is your opinion on Sideshow now?
I don't know. Sideshow kind of lost me being happy with. I was always a predominant proponent of Sideshow. I always loved their statues, and I still think they got amazing statues. I just hate how they did some scummy moves, like wiping out your points.
Oh yeah,
that really pissed me off. You'll lose. Your points used to be unlimited.
Unlimited, yeah.
Because like I could always go to a comic store and buy it for 15 to 10% off, but they offered the 10% off with the points, or however the points plan, you got some money back, and that was great. But then they got scummy, because one time I had thousands of points. I looked down and all of a sudden I noticed I got like 500. I'm like, whoa, what happened to all my points? I called them up and they're like, oh yeah, they expire now. That's bullshit. You know, sorry, I don't know if I'm PG.
That's okay. That's okay.
But not cool that they just all of a sudden started doing that. You know, even if they say, oh, we warned you, the fact that you chose to do that is not cool. You know, that was a great feature, and you take it away, you're only hurt yourself by doing stuff like that, because you lost me as a customer. You're like, I haven't bought a Sideshow statue or piece in quite some time. But and that really was that left a bad taste in my mouth when that happened with my points. I was very upset with Sideshow over that. But they are still, I will say, one of the better statue companies out there. I mean, they've always been good to me with quality control. Like with, yeah, they had their issues, but they'd always make it good for me. I don't know. Other people have all these horror stories. Maybe because I bought a lot from them at the time, they definitely took care of me. I don't know. I can't speak to that. But they've always, Daniel Campisi or whoever it was at the time, would always get me a replacement. If it was possible, if it was within reason, would always get me a replacement.
Yeah, I have never had any problems with, I would say, with Sideshow. Sometimes perhaps a little bit of communication in some of the messages wasn't as clear, but other than that, always been good. They always come through. So,
and Prime One is a great company. I mean, the stuff they put out is amazing. I don't have anything bad to say about them or anything like that. I'd say my favorites would be Sideshow and Prime One. When I was heavily into collecting, you know, I was never a fan of XM. There's so many XM fanboys out there. I never liked their stuff. I bought the Phoenix that one time. And I liked that a lot. It looked good, the Flaming Phoenix, but then I sold that eventually.
What do you think about PCS now? The new.
I've always loved PCS. The Jerry. I think it was more for Jerry. I had a good relationship with Jerry. These new guys, I really don't know them. I met them at the New York Comic Con one time. They were nice fellows. I got nothing bad to say. But I'm not what they're putting out now. I don't know. They're just venturing into everything. I haven't really seen a Street Fighter piece that like knocked my socks off. You know, they're starting to do Marvel stuff, but it's like 1/3 scale of the Spider-Man. Like, I don't know. I just think there's other companies that do that. I don't know. I don't want to slam any company, so I'm not going to say nothing negative. I haven't been a big fan of what's been coming out of PCS.
What other companies have?
The Rocky. I didn't think the Rocky looked that good at all. Like, I wasn't a fan of the Rocky.
Okay. Are there any other companies?
XM seems to be getting better.
Okay.
With their quality and stuff. I saw some pieces of XM that looks like they're improving. You know, but they were the ones that started this price increase. I mean, they seem to be the first company that started jacking up the prices, and then all the other companies followed suit. So I think XM ruined it for everyone, because they were the ones that had these expensive statues to begin with. And then right after XM, everyone started jumping up their prices. All of a sudden, Sideshow statues went from $350 to $800, you know, and then now they're up in $1,000. So I mean, I don't know if I was to say who started it. I remember XM was the first company in my book that started jacking up the high prices.
Are there any other companies that you've been paying attention to that you like what they're doing, that you think they have a future?
Yeah, Prime One. I mean, I love all the Prime One stuff. The only thing about Prime One is everything's like 1/3 scale and huge, so I can't order it. But I love it.
Yeah,
I love looking at it. I mean, I think the stuff they're putting out is amazing. Prime One and Sideshow. I'm trying to think of like other companies that, I mean, I guess that if I was heavily into the game, that's who I'd be ordering from.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about Iron Studios, this Brazilian company?
Yeah, I mean, a few of those, one of those studios was doing the Superpowers collection.
Tweeterhead.
Some of those look pretty cool, but I mean, just I don't know if the quality was there. Just I don't know. Sideshow always did it for me because their statues always looked so real. Like, you know, so they had the comic feel, but they looked real too. Like, I don't know how to explain that. You know, just the accuracy and the sculpture, musculature, and just everything looks great. Like, look at that. Remember that Red Sonja where she's stepping over the snake? I mean, I still got that in my collection. That statue is amazing.
It is.
God, it looks so good. Some of the pieces that they put out, and like I said, now the Prime ones are just knocking it out of the park.
Oh yeah, I think what happened with the Sideshow was the fact that they, you know, back in the day, you know, Sideshow was the company that everyone wanted to work for. You know, that was the company.
Let me give you a great analogy. Back in the day, Sideshow was Prime 1 to Bowen Designs.
Correct.
Like Prime 1 is the Sideshow now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because you remember Bowen Designs, they were great. They were cool statues. If you like comics and stuff, they looked awesome. But they just didn't have that extra detail that the Sideshow started coming out with. And wow, Sideshow knocked your socks off. Now Prime 1's doing that to Sideshow where their statues are looking even better. You know, I think that's a good analogy to look at it like that.
No, what the thing is like Prime 1 always surprises me because when I look at the statue, to me, it's like, how can you top what they do? Like that how can you top it up? I don't think anyone can top it because the likeness, the detail, but of course it comes with a high price tag, which most of us we will never be able to afford. If you want to have it all, you may be able to have one or two. It's just put out
the portrait of the Joker on that Joker statue.
Yes,
from the Joker movie.
Okay.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, because they've been working with Blissway, so they've been Blissway does the faces, the portraits.
Blitzway does uncanny portraits. Blitzway does amazing portraits. Their Rocky was a good Rocky. It's hard to do Stallone's face. They did it in that Rocky 2 statue. It was great. They nailed it. Their Marilyn Monroe was amazing. The statue that did, and Blitzway has a lot of like. I got the Blitzway Michael Jordan figure just because it looked like Michael. Like Blitzway is so good at that.
You know, this company is it's amazing what they're doing. It's just I think the main concern, and every time I talk to someone, all the collectors, I think all collectors, they share the same point of view that you have right now with the pricing. It's just getting out of hand to a place where the same in my mind I'm thinking like companies need to also realize, so they need to bring their, you know, put themselves at the same level everyone. They have to put their foot on the ground and the feet on the ground and start seeing it that way. Like, you know, we're not going to produce something that maybe we're going to have a few collectors buying it, but where the money is at is to really bring it to the masses. So I feel that, you know, I understand where some people want to have limited numbers, but at the same time, if you're only making, I don't know what piece, and you're charging $5,000 for that piece because Prime 1 has some pieces that are $5,000, you know, how many people are going to buy? You know, how many people are going to spend $5,000? It's just very limited.
I mean, it's a small motorcycle.
Yeah.
Me, 5,000. Jeez.
You know, like $5,000. Like they have this amazing, because I love the whole 1/3 scale display. What was that? Based on the Dark Knight Returns, they have the Superman versus Batman, the whole diorama, which is 1/3. It's amazing. But paying $5,000 for it, and you have to imagine that there's gonna come probably 3 boxes. Yeah. The shipping cost from Japan, if you order directly from them, it's gonna be insane. So I don't know. I don't know what these companies are doing. Maybe it's, you know, maybe it's because there's a lot of Asian collectors now that have the money and they're pushing for this back, you know, in Asia. But which is funny because it used to be a time where I remember when America here, United States, was the place. You know, the companies, everything was sold here, and if you were outside of the United States, then you have to pay for shipping from the United States because Sideshow was at the center of things. I remember I sold so many statues to people in Southeast Asia. They wanted Sideshow stuff. They told me, can you buy this for me or can you sell? And I sold to them all the time for profit. You know, not only because I charge them more than I would say starting in the United States to a lot of the buyers, but also because, you know, the shipping costs. You know, they were sending me, you have to pay for the shipping, so I have to send it to them. But now they have the companies, they have the XM with there is Prime One Studio with all these Chinese companies that they're coming out, in places in Southeast Asia. All these companies are doing amazing stuff, and collectors seems to pay attention to that stuff. And in some way, they kind of see in Sideshow it's like a second thought. It's just not the main thing. What do you think about the future of this hobby? Do you think it's sustainable?
I don't know. I hope it is. The collector in me hopes it is. But I don't know. I honestly don't know where it's going. I can't predict the future. And just think about this, not to sound like an old man, but like the first Sideshow statue, the first premium format, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, the first premium format from Sideshow was the Wolverine Logan or whatever, where he had the cigar in his mouth with the leather, it almost looked like plastic, the leather jacket.
Yep.
I think that went for like $150.
Yeah.
To think of what the statues are costing now. I don't know. I don't know if everyone's all of a sudden, I get inflation, but is everyone also making an extra $20,000 a year to afford this collecting habit? I don't know for sustainability. Like, it's a great thing that the statues are at least numbered. That's another thing. Now, edition sizes too, because edition size always helped you out. Like if you ever did have to part with a statue to try and get another piece in your collection, at least if it was a low edition size, maybe you could turn a profit or definitely make your money back at least. Now, like if I ever do get out, I'm probably going to take a huge loss on all of my statues because I have so many. It's just like, wow. Like a friend of mine, I don't want to tell other people's business, but a fellow, I won't name names, but a fellow collector friend of mine just recently had probably about like maybe, I don't know if he had close to 100 statues, and he probably hung on to like 10 or 15 of them, and sold them. And I'm like thinking, wow, did that kid make a smart move? He probably did, getting out, because he probably made a little bit of money while he could, whereas me, if I hang on to these till I'm 60 or 70 or on my deathbed, I think it's going to be a loss. I don't know. It's not all about money. It's the passion of collecting and stuff like that. But at the same time,
that would make smart moves. Yeah.
You don't want to make a mistake and lose a lot of money either. So I don't know. I definitely know there's pieces in, like I said, I'm going to start thinning out my collection now. Well, my problem is my parents recently. Well, not recently, but past a couple of years. They both died of cancer 9 months from each other.
Sorry to hear that.
No, it's thank you. It was 2018, 2019. But a lot of this stuff, I had to clear out their house. And I had a lot of stuff from my house, from their house that came to my house now. Mm-hmm. So I definitely have to start selling and potting to make space because it's just out of hand. I'm not looking to be on the next episode of Hoarders, and the boxes alone for these things are just incredible. So eventually I'm going to be having a big sale and start potting with some stuff. But there's definitely pieces that I will never want to pot with, and hopefully maybe I will take to the grave or leave to my kids, at least if they get into it. Like my son's already into statues. He's got the Sideshow Flash in his room, and my daughter has the Disney Elsa. So they're into them a little bit. My wife kind of controls it, luckily, because if I their collection, they'd probably have out of hand like me too, so it's kind of good that my wife pulls in the reins. But yeah, the future of it, I don't know. I mean, because there's always new generations.
Yeah.
Maybe it will have a future, because look at comic books.
Yeah.
Comic books, it's a collectible. Comic books have been around forever. I mean, as long as the industry can figure out how to keep their customers, sorry, that's my phone. As long as they can figure out how to keep the price point affordable, but they keep going up and up. I don't know. Is it eventually going to be only for the ultra rich? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to get that way, because if the prices keep going up, everybody's not going to be able to keep affording them. But comic books have been around forever. Baseball cards have been around forever. I mean, sports cards just had a resurgence, kind of died in the 90s and 2000s and kind of just came back now, Mm-hmm. So who knows?
Right.
I wish I was Nostradamus and I could give a really good answer to that. I hope it stays around forever, because I'll always go in my basement, no matter how out of hand my collection gets, I'll always go down every now and then and just look in my collection and just look around at my statues, and it takes you to, I don't know, I sound like such a geek, but we're all geeks, and whoever's watching this understands me. My wife would not understand me. Maybe my neighbors would not understand me, but whoever's watching this video understands me. You'll go and I'll sit in my leather recliner and just like look around at certain pieces, and I'm just like, it's so cool. I would never part with that piece. Like the Hulk Spidey diorama.
Yeah.
Like,
that is an amazing piece.
The Thor PF, the Hulk PF, the Wolf Predator. There's just some statues I just look at and I'm like, such a good piece. Even like they're timeless,
They're timeless, yeah.
They've held the age of time. That Superman 1/3 Prime 1, that's like right near my gaming setup, where I'll be playing and I'll look over at it. And it just looks awesome. The statue's just so well made. Yeah. I hope the community stays strong. I mean, it seems like it's always growing. There's always going to be new people getting into it. So I don't see it. I hope it doesn't die. I don't see it dying. I know. Look at a guy like me. Like I've kind of gotten pushed out of it, but I'm still into it. It's still a passion for me. So I don't think it's going to go away. Is it going to slow down? Maybe it'll slow down a little bit. Maybe not. I don't know what's going to happen with the pricing and everything. If people can keep affording it, it'll thrive. If not, either these companies are going to have to, catch on and start lowering the prices and making them affordable again. I don't know what's going to happen.
I think with them, like you mentioned, I think you hit it in the head when you mentioned it, that there's always new people coming. And back in the day, there was no many places to go and find information about this hobby. The only places that we had was the forums or coming to YouTube to watch videos. But now the companies are using social media very powerfully. They go to Instagram. They have their Facebook pages, their Facebook groups. They have their own YouTube channels. They go to, TikTok, everything. They're doing so many things. So there is. And there's billions of people in the world, so it's like they have a platform so they can sell their products. And I think that it's not gonna simply die out. Of course, some people perhaps they get tired, get jaded, they move on with their lives. You get older, you take other responsibilities in your life, so that is different. But I still there is, and one of the things that amazes me now is that some years ago, technically there were only a few franchises that were being produced, whether it was your Marvel stuff, your DC stuff, perhaps some Star Wars stuff. Not everyone did it, but also you have perhaps Predator, Terminator, things like that. But now, like, everything is being produced. Every franchise that comes out, every new movie, there is now collectibles. Every new TV show, Netflix, like cartoons, manga, anime. There's so many things. So I think there is a lot of potential. And companies are seeing that as long as there is people willing to spend the money, there's always going to be companies producing something for them.
Yeah.
So now we're coming to the end of the episode. I want to kind of ask you this question, and definitely just your opinion, and if there's any tip, any advice you can give to anyone who wants to follow in your footsteps, anyone that wants to perhaps watches all these videos, have watched your videos, your channel, and they feel like, man, I want to do the same thing, but I don't have it. What is your advice to them?
I mean, I always like, whenever I made a video of something, like I said, I never put a big production into it. I just put the camera and started recording, or however you record, whatever you're using to record. But one thing I would always do is do my research before I started talking about something. Like, I would make sure I knew that, like, me and Matt used to always laugh about this. Like, people would start talking about characters like Moon Knight or whatever. They'd be reviewing a statue and they would know nothing about the character. Mm-hmm. And it would just make you laugh, like how it's like, wow, dude, he knows nothing about the comic. He's just reviewing the statue. Fine, good for them that they like the statue. That's awesome. But at least have a little source material and know what you're talking about before you start talking about it. You know what I mean? Because you definitely want to give people information. That's what I always try to do. That's why I always tried to just give as much detail as possible, and just, explain everything, to try and bring them in the room with you, like looking at the statue. I really don't have any secret or anything like that. Like I always, I guess the secret of my channel's success was simplicity, and I just be me.
Honesty.
And there's nothing to be afraid about, you know, like if you don't want to get in front, like I hardly ever got in front of the camera. But I was, you know, I did a few times when I toured my house and stuff like that with the collection tour. And, you know, I haven't done one of those in quite some time, obviously, but, you know, if you're afraid to be in front of the camera, don't get in front of the camera. Just don't be nervous. I would always just speak from the heart and just talk, you know, like you get a lot of people that are like, you know, like just relax. Don't, you know, I was just felt like I was, I don't know, just speaking from the heart, talking about what I liked and what I didn't like about the piece. I always tried to, you know, at the same time, whenever I was reviewing something, I always never wanted to slam the person or you know, hurt the company, you know. A lot of people are like, oh, you never have nothing bad to say about Sideshow. Like, are you paid by Sideshow? They send you that stuff for free. No. But I would say something if something looked poor, if an eye was crossed. You can look back at my videos. I'd say something if the eye was googly or something, but do it tactfully.
Exactly.
And do it nicely. You know what I mean? Mistakes are made. You know, you're not out to rip apart a company.
Correct.
I guess that's it. My channel has always been very simplistic and from the heart. It's just purely about what I love collecting and what I like. And I just try to bring it to people. Like if I get a new portable video game, I'll sometimes throw it on the channel. Like the Steam, I like to game on the side. I've been heavily into Call of Duty lately. All of a sudden I'm back into Call of Duty. I don't know where that came from, but I've been playing it religiously now. I always loved Gears of War growing up. And like, you know, the Steam Deck now, it's pretty cool to play these games portably through the Xbox Cloud Pass. And sometimes I'll throw a video on there, or maybe I'll throw a video about a new firearm that I picked up, and I'll catch a lot of heat. You know, you got to be careful about your source content, because you're never going to please everyone. Maybe someone's a big anti-gun person. Maybe someone's a big predominant, you know, pro-guns. Who knows? You know, and I always try to be very political in whatever I'm talking about, or, you know, not to offend anyone. You know, especially in this day and age, you got to be very careful about your words and what you say. No, I guess if I was to describe my channel, I'd say simplistic. It all started out just like on like the table, and then I started, you know, reviewing on a nicer table, and then I started getting spinners, you know, but I never went crazy just to bring you the piece. It was all about the piece, what I was reviewing. Not about some big introduction with fireworks and stuff like that, or some outro, you know, exit from the video. It was just about the piece. That's what I always loved about Pop Culture Shock Street Fighter pieces. They were just on a simplistic base. It was just a black circle, and there was the statue. So your attention was drawn to the character, you know? Yeah, I guess that's it. You know, I'm glad I could bring all this to you guys over the years. I'm still doing whatever I can here and there, and I hate to lose any subscribers. I'm glad all you new people coming on board. I definitely appreciate it. Like I said, it's very rewarding to talk about something that you love and have people enjoy it on top of that. So, yeah.
Well, Dean, thank you very much. I want to say thank you once again.
John Paul, thank you. I mean, I'm humbled that you even wanted me on. You know, I'm very irrelevant now. I think, like I said, I haven't really been doing reviews or anything, but I do try to do a review here and there. And I was very, very flattered to be asked. So thank you.
No, you're welcome. And yeah, I think that there's still, you know, people out there like me that can share the same sentiment. A lot of people, you know, started watching your channel years ago, and that's how they got into the hobby. And to me, that was great. It brings those memories. I remember those simpler days of YouTube, and simpler days and collecting, you know, where things were not as complicated as they are now. But it's good, you know, and I think that I just mentioned, and I think it's totally true. It's about being authentic. It's about being honest and being positive. I think, like you said, I never saw in any of your videos any negativity. You were not blasting people, or you know, pointing people, or trying to make any type of you know, diss or anything. You just were, you know, being honest, and it was all about the piece. It was all about the art. It was all about the work of the artists and the companies. And to me, that's, at the end of the day, that's what it is. When you're making a review video, it's about just presenting the material and talking about it. And, you know, like you said, mistakes are made. but it doesn't mean that the company didn't try to do something good or the artists were involved in the process. At the end of the day, they are the ones that put their heart into it, and sometimes things don't work out, but that doesn't mean that they're bad people or they're just trying to do something wrong for us. So I love that. I think that was, to me, that was the rule that I learned from your videos to apply on my videos, was to no matter what, you know, even if you're not happy with the product, just trying to be honest, but do it in a respectful way, and always honor the people who were involved in the process of production of that piece. Because they're human beings like you and I. They have to pay bills. They got things to do. They have families to worry about. And they do their best. And sometimes things don't work out. And it has nothing to do with them. Sometimes it's just something that happened in the factory. And our piece came broken. And, you know, because on transportation, the guy that works for UPS or FedEx didn't take care of it. Just throw it in there. And it came broken. And nothing to do with the company. So, you know, I love that. That's something that I love from your channel, was that there was always a positivity around it, you know, and still is. You know, I still watch your videos. Well, I want to say thank you for all you have done. So, my friends, I want to say to all who are listening to this podcast, whether you're listening to different platforms or you're watching this in YouTube, I want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, if you have never, ever watched the channel of StatueHunter75, I will have the links in the description. You can follow him there. I recommend you to follow him. Go back through his videos. If you have never watched the videos, because I know there's a lot of new people here, go back to the old videos. Look at all those videos. Look at the production of those videos. There's so many amazing pieces that he reviewed over the years. Many of my purchases started watching his videos, and definitely he was the culprit of many of my purchases. Yeah, you were the one that kind of pushed me to a lot of this, but you know what, I'm thankful because I love this hobby, and I know many people do too. But I want to say to all of you, thank you for taking the time to listen and to watch, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram. All the links are in the description. My friends, God bless you, take care, and we will talk to you again. Bye bye.